All right, I'm going to show you how to do maintenance on your tankless water heater. Pretty much all of them are about the same. They're close to about the same, and descaling is the same procedure. The kit I have here is a Flow-Aide system descaler kit. It comes with 1 quart of Flow-Aide descaler. It comes with a pump. And it comes with 2 washing machine hoses that will be hooked up here on the cold and here on the hot. Okay. The first thing you need to do before you start anything on this unit here is you're going to go to your temperature scale here, and mine's off already because I already started the process here. But what you have to do is put it to its lowest temperature. 98 was the display on mine. That was the lowest it will go. Okay, so you have to go down, get it all the way to the lowest temperature. Then you're going to go ahead and unplug the power. Unplug the power. Then you're going to shut off the gas. Okay, this would be on. If it was going this way, it would be on. This way is off. I've already shut it off. I did the same thing with the water here. The cold water is off. The hot water is off. And these valves are quite tight. I had to use a crescent wrench like this and size it up and move the valves so I could put them in the position that is opposite the direction of the pipe. If they were going like this, it'd be open. Like this, it's off. So on and off. Okay, same thing here. On and off. As you can see, it's in this position here. Pretty much horizontal, the way these pipes are configured, but it can be different at another place where you live, how they put the piping together. But anyway, once you've got these already shut off, and you have these caps here, you're gonna take these caps off. Okay? And as you can see, if you look down in that pipe there, this valve is closed. As you can see, the valve is written on here, on, okay, on. When you turn it this way down, it's going to open it up so the flow of the water can come out. Okay, we're gonna hand connect. Oh, hang on one second here. We're gonna hand connect to the cold line. Get it nice and hand tight, snug. And then we're gonna hand connect to the hot side, the discharge side. Okay, get their hand tight, tight. Then we're gonna put the hoses, ends, in a bucket. Put it right in here in this bucket. And once you got it in the bucket there, you're going to open up these lines here so any excess water in the system will be drained out. Okay, there we go. We got that one open. Make sure it's all the way. Okay, and we're going to open up this one. It's going to play with me here. Hang on a second. Can get the camera on it. That'd help. Okay, and that bad dog is open. Okay. So we got both of them open here, this one open here and open here. So that valve inside here is open, and you have these shut, this shut. So your cleaning fluids are gonna go in and out of the system, okay? Make sure that if you decided for whatever reason to have this open to release any excess water in the system, make sure that's back in the closed position so that you do not discharge your expensive kit here right out the side of the house here, okay? So make sure you don't do that. Then you gotta come up here, and this is your filter. It's like a little plastic filter. And I had to get it out gently, do it very gently. I stuck my needle nose pliers in here to hit these 2 tabs on the side and work it that way to get it out. Do not tighten it up that way. Use your hands to tighten it back up. But anyway, I've got this sucker almost completely out, so let me get it out. There it is. Okay, there it is. It came from here. Let me point again. It came from here. Here it is. Here's the filter. There's a little gasket right here. They always warn in every label and every instruction I've read so far for this job. It says, don't lose the gasket. Well, it didn't come off or anything, but, well, I guess don't lose the gasket. That gasket right there, if you can see it. Hold on, I got a terrible camera view here. Right there. See that gasket, that O-ring? That O-ring right there, gasket, is what seals it off. But I'm going to go wash this off real quick and make it all pretty. And then I'll bring it back and put it back in, and we're going to start descaling this puppy. Okay, now I've cleaned it, and we're going to check it in the light here. That's the best way to check it. Put it up to light and see if you can see clearly through it. If it's nice and clean, you've done a good job. Okay, rock and roll there. Now put it back. Put it back in there. It's righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. So let's get it back in there. Just hand turn it in. Make sure you don't lose that gasket. You remember the gasket now? Let me take it back out again so I can show you the gasket. Okay, don't forget that gasket. Make sure it's there after you wash it for sure. Okay, then put it back in there, righty-tighty. Okay. If I can just hold this camera straight, life would be a lot better. Okay, you're just gonna get it hand tight, snug, as best you can. All right. And then you'll put this little retainer ring back on. Mine came with, yours may have it, may not, I don't know. Put that puppy back on there. Make it look like it just came off the showroom floor, you know? Okay, now we got that on there. We're gonna have to set up our kit and start washing this bad boy out. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, and I'll tell you now, when you put the cold one on and the hot one on, make sure that these hoses, the one that you put on the hot has the male end, okay, see the male end there, and then the one that goes to the cold side all the way around here, there it is. It also has a female end on the other end because that's going to hook up to your pump. So this end hooks up to your pump, and it's just like the other end. So the one with the same ends goes on the cold. The one with the opposite ends goes on your hot, okay? All right. Okay, we're going to talk about the pump real quick here. You'll have this little tie here. It's like a bread tie, I call them. But anyway, it'll have this little adapter here, and this adapter is going to go just like this. The smaller threaded side is going to go inside the pump itself. Get it snug tight. Sorry I have to do the camera here like this, but I had to use one hand, two hands, just doesn't work, you know. So anyway, the cold side here that has two of the female connections, cold side, female connection, has to be connected to the pump. Okay. All right. And this thing is self-lubricated by the water, so you do not want to run this pump at all until you have it immersed in water. I got to use two-handed here again, so I have to be up close here. Okay, now I've got it connected here, and we're good to go with the pump, but make sure you do not plug that little puppy in. Do not do it. Don't do it, because it has to be underwater in this bucket here that comes with the kit, and it has to be immersed under 1 gallon of water and a pint of the descaler. So we'll get to that in just a minute. Okay, I have my 1 quart bottle here of Flow-Aide descaler, okay? And I also have my 1 gallon of water I'm gonna add to my pump in the bucket here. And also, don't forget, I used this bucket before for my dirty water, okay? I'm gonna move that hose into the bucket we're doing the work in, okay? So when it's pumping it through, it's gonna go through into the unit up here, it's gonna go through here. Let me do it again with my finger. Up here into the unit, circulate in there and come back out into the discharge here. It's just gonna keep recirculating. And on my instructions here, it says 30 to 45 minutes, okay? And I'm gonna go the full 45 on this because this unit has not been done, I think, in 2 years. So yeah, it's gotta be done. All right, so anyway, I'm gonna dump these in real quick and get right back to you. Okay, I've got the water in there and the descaler. And make sure the pump is completely immersed, it says by the instructions. And also to watch that, make sure that the level doesn't go down to a point where the unit is exposed and the pump will be damaged. So it's good to take your 1 gallon water and go refill it at least halfway. And as you're first pumping the cycle through and getting all the air out, you can make sure that you don't lose any water and add some if you need to. Okay, I've got extra water here now. And I'm ready for the procedure. They said make sure to move the bucket as close as you can to the assembly or the tank. Okay, I have done that. The area is pretty clear. A little bit of water here and there, but that's gonna have to be cleaned up at the end here. And it's time to plug it in. So I'm gonna go ahead and plug it in. Make sure you have your water on station just in case it goes down. Remember the flow and extra air in the system. So here we go, we're gonna look for leaks. We're gonna look for leaks real quick as soon as we fire this up. Okay, here we go, it's starting to fire up and then we got leaks. So we need to check that out, tighten things up. As you see, we got a leak there, and I'll tighten up there real quick, and then we'll move on. Okay, I finally got it to stop leaking here. Make sure you have a pair of channel locks on you here. And it also comes, I found in the kit here, some extra gaskets. I had to put a different gasket. I had to take the new one out and put another one out of this bag into here to make it not leak anymore. And I had to tighten up the other side. So make sure you have a pair of channel locks. The sucker was leaking like a sieve. They said hand tight. You got to tighten it up. So anyway, we're running the unit right now, and it's going to cycle, and we're going to do it for 45 minutes, and then we'll be almost done. Then we got to do cleanup and put it back together. After about a minute, I had to add some more water, so make sure you watch for that. Keep this body under the water. Okay, my 45 minutes is up here and I'm going to turn it off. Okay, as you can see, there's a lot of debris in there, so there's stuff in there. There was stuff caught in the body of that unit inside there. So, yeah, the tank exactly, to be honest, the right name for it. Okay, the next thing you're going to do is you've got to disconnect the cold side, but first you must shut this closed right here. Make sure it's good and tight. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to get our crescent wrench here, not crescent wrench here, our channel locks, and we're going to take this back off because we had to hand tighten it because it was leaking. We're going to take that off and then we'll move from there. Okay, I've gotten the hose disconnected on the cold side. I'm going to go ahead and put the cap back on. Make sure it's snug by hand, snug, okay? And then we're going to leave this hose connected, the hot side connected. And because I have my extra 5-gallon bucket here, I'm not going to use this one. I'm going to use my 5-gallon bucket here, not this bucket, because they tell you to use this bucket. But first you would have to do, if you're going to use just this bucket, you would have to go, get rid of this liquid. I'm not going to tell you how to get rid of it, because they don't tell you how to get rid of it. They just say you need to discard it. Discard the liquids. I'm not going to even go there. I'm going to get rid of it my way. You get rid of it your way. But I have a secondary bucket here. I'm going to flush the system through having this valve shut here. Okay, and then I'm gonna take my crescent wrench here and I'm gonna open it very, very carefully, because if you open it too hard, you're gonna have water everywhere. Okay, so you have to open it very gingerly. So I can get it open here. There we go. You gotta be careful. Okay, now it's starting to come out. And what you're looking for is to see if it's going to come out clean. Once it starts coming out clean, then you're good to go. So it may take a while of filling here. Hopefully not 5 gallons, but enough to get the job done. I'm going to open up a little more here, so I got a lot of flow going through. Okay, looking pretty good so far here. Give it some more water. I have my crescent wrench on here just to turn the valve, because it is so stiff. That thing is so doggone stiff to get this water out. And I'm just going to get as much water flowing through that tank to clear out any debris. Okay, as you look at my old tank here, as it's settling, all that came out of the tank. All the scale and deposits and stuff like that. But you don't want to go over 45 minutes. You go over 45 minutes, you may be doing more damage by using the solution causing pitting in the tank, and you don't want to pit the tank. Okay? So anyway, I'm almost full here. I look like I've run it pretty clean. I'm going to shut it off again. Okay? And I'm going to shut down this hot tap here, so I can use my channel locks here and get off this hot side. Let me do that real quick, and then I'll put my cap back on too. Okay, I got the hot hose off, and I'm gonna put my cap back on. Make sure it's good and tight. Okay, and make sure this valve is closed like I showed you. Make sure you close these valves before you start taking these hoses off. Now we're back to my pump here. Okay, it recommends to clean out the hose, and I got a bucket of semi-clean water here. I'm just gonna take it out of the bucket. Okay, let it drain a little bit here. Okay. And we'll stick it in this nice clean bucket of water. Then we'll put the hose back in, so it's just gonna recirculate back into itself and wash my pump out. Of course, I got my plug wet here, so I gotta dry that out before I plug it back in. Then I'll show you the process here of it working the function, but it's pretty self-explanable. Okay, now I'm just washing out the pump real quick here, using the clean water, the fresh water, to wash out the hose and the pipe. So this works out for 2 functions there and gets all any corrosive material from this solution here, which I'm going to discard somewhere. Okay, and then I've got to get back here and make sure that I got my procedures correct, and I'll show you what to do here in just a moment. All right, I've ran my hoses for a couple minutes here, my pump. So that's all good to go. I'm going to disconnect that. I'm going to get everything ready to pack and go for that. Make sure you shake out the hoses real good. Make sure the pump's cleared of some water. I already made some baggies with some paper towel in it. I put my O-rings or seals for the hoses, the extras they gave me in the package. And this will be for the hoses in this bag. And this will be the pump for the pump in this bag. And then it will go back in the cleaned out tub. I know it doesn't look clean anymore, but those are like some kind of stains there. That it's the weird stuff that came out of the unit there. As you can see, it looks like metal pieces of it. I'm gonna wipe this out with a paper towel, and it should look pretty clean. And then I'll put all this back in, make it dry. And we got to move on back to what we're doing here to get things functional, so we can move on and get the unit fired back up. Okay, we're back at the point where we're gonna refill the tank and turn the cold water supply back on to the unit. Okay, and we want to do that, and we want to watch this seal right here. I've been told to look for this seal leaking at all, this cap, because you got to hand tighten it. And I hand tightened it pretty good, but you never know. I mean, you saw what those hoses did. Oh my goodness, man. So here we go. We're going to slowly turn this valve back on. Okay, we're almost there. Well, nothing's come out so far. Okay, we're going to go to this point here. We're going to open this one back up. So there we go. Make sure nothing's coming out of any of these guys here. Guys or gals coming out of here. Nothing so far, so looks pretty good. Now what I'm going to do before I got some water on there. Kind of unnerves me a little whenever you have water anywhere. Make sure these guys are completely up. Double checking everything to be ridiculous here. And making sure this is not leaking. But I did find water on this right here. So I'm going to watch that like a hawk. But what I'm going to do is go to the farthest point of the house. And I'm going to open up the hot water valve on a sink. Or if you have one of those type with a stick, you got to turn the stick to hot to turn it. So you may want to turn that stick to hot. I'm going to go do that now to the furthest part of the house, and then I go through the house and open up the hot one so I have water flowing. I do not have the unit on yet, so we're going to do that last, is firing up the unit, plugging it in, turning on the gas, and in just a minute. And then we're going to make sure we put everything back up, and I'm going to show you how I pack the unit here with all this stuff. And of course, I cleaned the bucket out with a rag, and it came out pretty good, a paper towel. So that looks pretty good. Let's move on to opening up a valve in the house, hot water valve. Okay, we're at the sink furthest away from the tank on the other side of the house. We're gonna open up the hot. It doesn't look like it has any air in it, but we'll see. Doesn't look like a problem, but they say watch out for sputtering and stuff like that, and you know, make sure you get all the air out. So I'm just gonna run it for probably a minute or so, and then head back to the tank. Okay, we're back at the tank here. And we're going to go ahead and just turn the gas back on. It says turn it counterclockwise, so that's counterclockwise, and now it's in line with the pipe. So it is now getting gas. It says now plug in the unit. So we plugged it in. We'll probably wait to see what's going on here. It looks like everything's good to go. Let's make a little noise here. Everything's on. It's making some noise. A little bit of water here and there. But I think that's from the connections, so I'm not worried about that yet. Okay, you never know when you have a bad valve. Always check for that. Come back and look. Always check this sucker right here. They say watch out for this little filter here. Remember the screen filter? Always watch that, man. Make sure that it's not leaking. Mine is not leaking, so good to do hand tight. Now it says once you get the gas turned on and the power back on, and once you get a display of your temperature, then you're going to take it to what you had it on before. Mine was 106. Okay. I have it at 106 there. And, you know, they say wait just probably a couple of minutes to make sure everything's good to go, and then try to initiate the system and see if it'll heat up the water. If it doesn't, then you need to shut it back down and call a technician, okay? That's what the instructions say. And here's the instruction on the wall right here. I put them on the wall from the package. It also comes with a couple of slips. They gave me 3. So I have 1, 2, 3, okay? To put my date when I've done the descaling of the unit every year. You're supposed to do it every year. And then today I've done it September 25th, 2021. Okay, and there we go. And I'm going to go from left to right, left to right. Some people may go up and down. I don't want to cause any confusion because most people go left to right. So anyway, that's what you do every year. You just put it on that sheet, stick it on your wall near the unit. Make sure your unit gets all cleaned up. Clean it up while you're in here. You know, look for spider webs, stuff like that. Get it all cleaned up. Dust off the unit on top. And then pack your gear. So we're going to pack up all the gear, and I'm going to show you how I got it all set up once I get it back in the bags that I made, and show you that real quick. And then we will be done for the day, and we'll put the unit in here to the left or right, and it'll be in here for the next year to do this. And like I said, you got to make sure you clean up in here because you may only be in here once a year to do this or to change the temperature. All right, be back in just a second, show you how I pack, and then I'll give you a send-off. Okay, I'm still packing things up, but I wanted to tell you that holding the unit like this, the pump in this fashion like this, most of the water comes out in that way. Okay, you have to rock it a little, but once you get towards the end here, the cord towards the bottom and the nozzle right there with the adapter on there, I'm just gonna leave that on and put it in the bag. I'm not gonna take it off and wrap it up back on the cord. So just leave that on for next year. But this angle right here is the best angle to drip it dry. Okay, I've got to dump this 5-gallon or discard this 5-gallon bucket and of water. And there's my unit. It's all packed up, ready to go. My hoses, my gasket, my pump. I don't have any more of the descaler, so I'll need to order some before I do it next year, which is the Flow-Aide. This is 1 quart. I'm sure there's a 1 gallon out there somewhere. I'll save this jug. I'll get rid of this water, but I'll save this jug for next year so I can use it again, 1 gallon. Okay, and that's it, folks. So that's how I descale my tankless water heater. Good luck, God bless, and always works for me.